Hello and welcome, dear ones. It's Maverick Mystic here with the Spiritual Society. And thank you for joining me today for this reading, all about your secret admirer. We're going to be exploring this topic with a variety of questions and a specific spread for this reading. And before we get into that, I just want to remind you that it's our mission here at the Spiritual Society to really help guide you to unblock your energy and through spiritual practices like the tarot reading here today, so you can live your most aligned life. And so as we begin to arrive at this space and at this time and this moment right here, just center yourself, take a nice deep breath, become aware of your surroundings, become aware of this person, hold them in your thoughts. And I'm going to give you 4 options to choose from in just a moment. But again, take a nice deep breath, center yourself, and whether it's pile 1 that resonates with you, 2, 3, or 4. Just tune in right now, just allow your intuition to guide you. And as you choose your pile, we shall begin. Okay, so welcome in card number 1. So as we begin today, we're going to be exploring all about your secret admirer. And we're going to be first starting with a look at the relationship itself, what you need to know about the secret admirer, the personality that this person has, some of their traits, the general outlook on life, just sort of giving you clues to possibly identify who they might be. Okay. Next, we're going to be looking at what they're like romantically. All right, we're going to do a 3-card draw for that as well. Next, we're going to be looking at what caught their attention about you. What is it that caught their attention about you? Next, we're going to uncover why they may not be coming forward at this time. What is it that may be sort of blocking them? What do they maybe need to know more of? Okay. Next, we're going to be looking at how to give the green light to them, how to make it sort of obvious to sort of step forward, come forward. Their current energy and feelings will be what we cover next. Their current energy and feelings, okay, towards you. Next, we're going to be considering the potential outcomes of this connection, okay, potential outcomes for the connection. And we will now, after this pile next, we're going to be looking at what you may be doing at this time that could be potentially blocking or preventing this connection. And finally, how to really, put yourself out there and ready to accept and receive love, and some strategies we're going to be looking in this final pile here. All right. Okay, so let us begin. What do you need to know about your secret admirer? Okay, and we have the King of Wands, the 4 of Pentacles, and the Ace of Pentacles. Okay, so let's start with the King of Wands. This card signifies a person who is charismatic, who is energetic and a natural leader, I would say. They're passionate and often take charge in situations, inspiring others with their vision, their determination. And I think this suggests that your secret admirer is likely someone who stands out in a crowd due to their sort of dynamic presence and ability to lead. They may be involved in positions where leadership and sort of maybe creativity also are required. The 4 of Pentacles, this card often points to someone who values control, stability, and security overall. It may indicate that your secret admirer has a sort of conservative approach to their finances or their personal boundaries. And this might be someone who is cautious about opening up or sharing their feelings freely. Okay, so maybe preferring to maintain a sense of control over their personal life and their relationships. Okay, the Ace of Pentacles represents new beginnings. Okay, especially in terms of material or financial ventures. And this card suggests that your admirer might be planning a sort of a new approach towards you, or possibly through a practical or tangible sort of gesture, potentially. It can indicate that this person, sees potential in establishing something new and solid with you, hinting at a desire to start something that has, the promise for growth and stability. Okay, and so I think together these cards suggest that your secret admirer is someone with a strong charismatic personality, a cautious but determined approach to relationships, They may be contemplating on making that significant, tangible gesture towards you to express interest or affection, and they likely value stability and are careful with their resources and their emotions as well, which might also hint at why um, maybe they have not come forward yet. Okay, so we can be exploring this in a little bit more detail in a moment. Now let us turn to pile number two, and here we're going to be exploring what they're like romantically, all right? And we have the Nine of Cups, the Hermit, and the Six of Cups. All right, so right away with the Nine of Cups, this card often is referred to as the wish card in tarot, and it symbolizes contentment, satisfaction, and emotional fulfillment. And in the context of romance, I think it suggests that your secret admirer might be someone who seeks a deep sense of satisfaction and happiness in the relationship. They likely have a generous spirit, and they enjoy making their partner feel loved and cherished. And this card suggests they have a capacity to provide emotional abundance and joy. Okay. Next, the Hermit. In contrast to the Nine of Cups, really, the Hermit indicates a more introspective and solitary approach. And this card, it can mean that your admirer often spends time in reflection or prefers a more sort of private love life. They might be someone reserved in expressing their feelings openly until they're sure of their sort of ground that they stand on. Um, the hermit's presence here, I think, suggests that your admirer values, deep, meaningful connections over superficial encounters, and they may take their time to come forward as well. I think that point is resonating over and over at the moment, so it's definitely a feature that stands out to me. So the Six of Cups, this card often represents nostalgia, memories from the past, and connections with childhood or youth. And in a romantic sense, it could indicate that your secret admirer feels soulful. Possibly there may be some sort of karmic connection with you, possibly seeing you as someone they have sort of shared history or past lives with. And so this card often brings a sense of innocence and purity to the relationship, suggesting that they admire you for your genuine qualities and may feel a deep emotional sort of resonance that is really comforting and familiar, I would say. And so I think combining these cards, it seems your secret admirer is someone who deeply values emotional fulfillment and has a romantic side that cherishes connection, nostalgia, and they are likely to be quite reflective and careful about how they approach romance, preferring to sort of delve or develop into a relationship that feels profoundly meaningful. So they may be sort of drawn to the idea of a relationship that feels like coming home, a connection that sort of really resonates at a soul level, and so they might also be holding back their feelings, as we expressed earlier, as they really contemplate the past and maybe their desires for a fulfilling future. And so yeah, so that's some of the features romantically. Now we're going to look at what caught their attention about you initially. What was it about you that really caught their attention? So we have the Page of Pentacles, the Page of Wands, and the Four of Cups. Okay, interesting. Now we start really with the Page of Wands. Let's start with the Page of Pentacles. So this card often represents someone who is studious, diligent, and always sort of eager to learn and improve. And in the context of what caught your admirer's attention, I think it suggests that they have, been drawn to your practical, ambitious, or perhaps your sort of approach to personal growth and development. I think your secret admirer here likely appreciates your responsible nature. I think he sees you as someone grounded and promising sort of, there's promising prospects and potential within you and the connection. All right. Next, the Page of Wands, really contrasting the Page of Pentacles. The Page of Wands is all about creativity, enthusiasm, and the pursuit of passion. And this card implies that your admirer was also attracted to your energetic, your adventurous spirit, potentially your adventurous side, and your zest for life and creativity. Or perhaps your expressive and outgoing personality are aspects that caught their eye. And this card, I think, highlights your ability to inspire and ignite excitement in others as well. And I think they find that very attractive. The Four of Cups, this card often indicates a period of contemplation and reassessment, and really suggesting a sense of dissatisfaction or maybe longing for something more. And so for your admirer, I think this card, it might mean that they notice a sort of contemplative or introspective side of you. Perhaps it was your depth or subtle sort of hint at needing more from life that intrigued them. Alternatively, this card could suggest that they They see you as someone who might be unaware of their interest or the opportunities around you, including their feelings towards you. Maybe they notice that about you. So there's a couple of options there to sort of go with. But I think together these cards suggest that your secret admirer is definitely captivated by the sort of blend, I would say, of your sort of practical achievements and your vibrant creative spirit. And they see you as a real balanced mix of grounding ambition and adventurous enthusiasm, which strongly appeals to them. Additionally, I think the Four of Cups, hints at that deeper emotional layer they perceived in you. And I think it adds to an intriguing depth of your personality that they find compelling. All right. Next, we're going to explore pile number 4. And really here we're going to be looking at why is it that they're not coming forward at this time? What is it that may be stopping them from doing so? So we have Temperance, Three of Wands, and Knight of Wands. Right, so firstly, let's look at Temperance, because this really stands out again as another theme sort of running through this sense of balance, this sense of harmony that they are conscious of. And Temperance, this card suggests that balance. It suggests moderation and a sort of need for patience as well. And I think in the context of why your secret admirer hasn't come forward, I think it could indicate that they are seeking harmony within themselves, or maybe their circumstances around them before taking action. Okay, so they might be trying to find that right moment, or yeah, like I said, waiting for some aspects of their life to sort of align better before revealing their feelings. And temperance often implies that sort of careful blending of different aspects of life is necessary to proceed, suggesting that they're cautious about disrupting the balance potentially. All right, so it's a harmonious thing. I don't think it's not a hint at perfection, waiting for all the things to be perfect before approach. It's not that. It's harmony. Harmony is a higher resonance. It's slightly different flavor to it. The Three of Wands, again, this card typically represents sort of looking forward to the future, planning, and sort of successful expansion. And I think for your admirer, it could mean that they're still sort of setting up the groundwork, if you like, for their future plans, which may include you. And so they could be considering that long-term potentials and outcomes before making their move. It may also suggest that they are waiting to see what opportunities their plans may bring before they come forward. All right. So yeah, it's a very strategic approach, really, that's coming through here from this secret admirer. Definitely someone who is sort of responsible and has a vision and sort of know where they want to go and where they're going and potentially who they're going with. All right. So next, the Knight of Wands. This card is all about action, adventure, and sort of moving forward with passion and enthusiasm. However, its presence here, I think it might suggest that while their intentions and desires to move things forward are strong, I think their impulsive nature might be holding them back due to the sort of fear of coming on too strong or not being well received. Could be a past experience of his, whereas it is sort of impulsiveness has not necessarily created the outcomes that he desired in the past, and so he's being very cautious for that side of him not to sort of run the show. And there's that sort of resistance, that holding back. And so the Knight of Wands can also indicate that they're not yet ready, okay, to settle into the more stable approach, which it could be necessary to approach you properly in their eyes. Okay, so yeah, I think it's just a bit of patience and a bit of temperance, really, in their current position. And so now let's take a look at pile number 5. And here we're going to be looking at what is it that you can do to give him the green light for them to come forward. What signals, what gestures can you do? And we have the Three of Cups, the Knight of Pentacles, and Strength. And so we start with the Three of Cups. And this card typically represents celebration, friendship, joyous sort of communal gatherings. And in terms of giving the green light for your secret admirer to come forward, I think it suggests creating an environment of warmth and welcoming. Engaging in social activities where the atmosphere is sort of light-hearted, inclusive. I think that can provide an excellent opportunity for your admirer to feel comfortable approaching you. Whether that's like a sort of gathering with your friends, invite them in, barbecue, that kind of thing. Granted, if you're not aware of who they are, that may be tricky, but the chances are that they're in one of your social circles or close by. And so I think, if that's possible to do that, then I think this setting can help bridge the gap between secrecy and openness, right? Give them that invitation to come forth. The Knight of Pentacles. This card represents, diligence, reliability, and the sort of methodical approach to tasks. And so to encourage your admirer to come forward, I think it indicates the importance of showing consistency in your interactions and being dependable as a person they can trust. And so, you know, bear in mind those qualities. And the knight is all about, stability, suggesting that showing that you're stable and grounded individual can, I think, reassure your admirer that it's safe to take that next step. Demonstrating patience, perseverance in your daily interactions can also signal that you're ready for something more serious and lasting, I would say. So another way of signaling the green light. Strength is a major arcana card that really symbolizes courage above all else, but also inner power and the mastery of emotions. And so in terms of facilitating an open connection here, this card encourages you to be confident and passionate. Showing emotional strength and resilience, I think, can assure your admirer that you are capable of handling deeper connections, which we've discovered here they are attracted to. It also implies the importance of gentle encouragement and showing emotional availability to make your admirer feel more secure in coming forward. And so I think together these cards suggest creating, as we said, that inviting social environment and demonstrating stability and emotional strength, really, by really engaging socially through gatherings, being reliable, consistent in your actions, and showing, compassionate strength. I think you're going to create a welcoming and a safe space for your admirer to reveal themselves and express their feelings towards you. All right. So next pile, we're looking at their current energy and their feelings towards you. Current energy and feelings towards you. Queen of Wands, Death, and the Four of Swords. Okay, these are interesting. So with the Queen of Wands, this card really represents a person who is charismatic, confident, and passionate. The Queen of Wands is someone who knows what they want and I think isn't afraid to go after it. But in terms of your admirer's feelings, this suggests they view you with great admiration and see you as someone who is both attractive and inspiring. This card can indicate that their feelings towards you are potentially intense and that they see you as a strong, dynamic individual. Okay. With Death, often, this card is often misunderstood, and Death card typically represents transformation, change, and sort of the endings that really pave the way for new beginnings. All right. So in the context of their feelings, I think that this suggests that your admirer is currently going through a significant internal transformation regarding their feelings for you. This could mean that they are contemplating ending their silence or changing the dynamic of how they currently interact with you. And I think it indicates a phase of real transition in their feelings or their approach towards you. Okay, so yeah, big change about to happen, I think. Four of Swords. So this card signifies a period of rest, contemplation, recovery. It suggests that your admirer might be taking a step back to really think things through, or perhaps they need to sort of maybe they need a break to clear their mind, possibly related to their work environment. Something could be stressing them, and they actually want to have time to contemplate and think about the relationship. This could be related to the transformation, as we saw in the Death card, as they might be really processing their feelings and the changes they're really considering. So the Four of Swords points to, I think, a need for peace and quiet to reflect on their emotions and to sort of gather the strength before taking any significant action, I would say. And so I think together these cards, they're going to paint a picture really of someone who is deeply attracted to you and sees you in a very positive light. However, I think they're currently in a phase of significant internal change and reflection, and they might be preparing mentally or emotionally to sort of shift their approach or reveal their feelings, but they need time to process and plan this transformation. We saw the strategic sort of nature of the connection before. And the admirer, I think they're likely considering how to sort of end their period of silence or how to change the status quo, and really using this time to of contemplation to ensure that they're ready and they're ready for what may be coming next. Okay, and so let us move to pile number 7, and we're going to be looking here, asking questions about what potential outcomes are there in this connection that we see here. What a great card to pull for that. The Lovers, the Empress, and the World. 3 major arcana coming up for the potential outcome of this connection. Wow, this is exciting. And so we start with the Lovers, and this card represents relationships, choices, often signifying a deep romantic connection that involves a significant decision. In the context of the potential outcome of the connection with your secret admirer, the lover suggests a powerful and meaningful relationship could develop. And this card indicates mutual attraction, compatibility, pointing to real possibility of a loving and harmonious union if both parties choose to pursue that. The Empress, symbolizing fertility, abundance, nurturing, and really enhances any reading with promises of growth and prosperity. So this card suggests that the relationship could bring a lot of joy, a lot of emotional fulfillment, and possibly creative or material abundance. But the Empress indicates a nurturing environment where the relationship can flourish, emphasizing that this connection could deeply enrich your life and bring about a sense of well-being and care in that union. The World card representing completion, accomplishment, celebration, and it suggests that this potential relationship could reach a really fulfilling and successful resolution. I think it implies a cycle of coming to a fruitful conclusion where both individuals feel a sense of completeness and achievement. In romantic terms, this could mean a real lasting relationship that significantly impacts both your lives, possibly suggesting, marriage as well here, or a long-term commitment that brings, great joy and real satisfaction, I would say. And so I think together these cards, they're really powerful and really positive, and they suggest a potential outcome of your connection with your secret admirer that's very promising, and it points to a significant and deeply emotional, fulfilling relationship that could involve, really evolve into a lasting union, I see. And really the presence of those three cards, really harmonious balance of joy, nurturing, mutual fulfillment, leading to success and real satisfying outcome for both parties there. So really positive there potential for this union. So let us explore on the back end of that positive there, the light, if you will, a potential that what you may be doing to potentially block it, right? So we know how to sort of signal the green light, make stuff available, but what may be some of the dynamics that you could be consciously, unconsciously doing that could be potentially blocking the connection? And we have the Five of Swords, the Magician, and the Nine of Pentacles. And so for me, what stands out, the Five of Swords, this card often represents conflict, defeat, and the feelings of winning at any cost, really. So in terms of what might be preventing the connection, it could suggest that there might be sort of behaviors or attitudes such as competitiveness, maybe some sort of ego clashes, or some misunderstandings that are creating barriers and it might also indicate a need to reevaluate your approach to conflicts or interactions. Maybe not to hold them as such a negative experience, but instead as a sort of like constructive sort of process that we can navigate better. It suggests perhaps that there's sort of a need to choose those battles wisely, or maybe to avoid unnecessary conflicts that could be pushing your admirer away. And what stands out for me there is, not to see the relationship as a competition, whether that's a competition of money, whether that's a competition of who's done what tasks, and really to sort of orientate more towards service rather than sort of being a competition. So competition is one. The Magician, it symbolizes resourcefulness, skills, and action, and much more. It's a very deep card for sure. The alchemical processes of like really bringing all the elements in together, and it's a real deep card. But really, what I take from this in the context of what may be called blockages in this connection, I think it suggests that you have all the tools, right? You have all the capabilities at your disposal to create and manifest the outcomes that you desire in your relationships. Okay, so that's the first thing. And I think this card encourages you to use your skills and your resources to overcome any obstacles that are presented by the Five of Swords. So for me, it's saying that this is a reminder more than anything that you have all the resources to navigate any of the conflicts that you may be encountering or will encounter. So don't be dissuaded, right? You have it. You have that there. I think it calls really to really assert your personal power and to actively work towards the kind of relationship that you want, but not impose it on the relationship. More so just to declare it, be clear about your vision for the relationship, hold it up as the North Star, and I think that will serve you well. Okay. The Nine of Pentacles, this card is about independence, sort of sufficiency, and financial stability. And so while these are sort of real positive attributes, I think in the context of what might be preventing a deeper connection here, it could suggest that perhaps an overly independent demeanor or a focus on personal achievements might be perceived as unapproachable or even intimidating. And I think it's really, that's another clue as to the potential competitive sort of streak that could be running through here. It could suggest perhaps also um, that it might be worth sort of examining if a strong emphasis on independence could be creating that barrier, right, and allowing others to sort of get close. And look, it's a very admirable, powerful quality for you to have that sort of independence and that strong will. You're self-resourced and independent. But just sort of bear in mind the sort of energetics around it. If it's held in a competitive, I must win at all costs kind of way, then this I think will prevent people from really coming into proximity, really close to you in the context of the union as well. And so, really, to sort of soften some of those resistances there, there's a couple of things that I could suggest that may sort of support you here to really address these challenges. A sort of ritual, focusing on releasing negativity, fostering openness, it might be helpful. So, first, I would say, create a calm space. Find a quiet spot, okay, where you can be uninterrupted. Just light a candle, all right? And I want you to symbolize, bringing light to the issues and clarity with your intentions, okay? It's a sort of ritual, symbolic gesture to say, right, I am willing to look at the shadow aspects of myself, the connection, and illuminate them, all right? And so from that place, on a piece of paper, I'd love you to sort of write down what you perceive as the barriers in your relationship based on the Five of Swords, and any personal sort of tendencies highlighted by the Nine of Pentacles. Write them down, capture them, look at them, be honest with yourself. Not just because that's what the card suggested here, but also go deeper. Find others that may not be articulated here today. All right, it's about shining light on them, reflecting on them. Next, we're going to reflect on your tools, all right, that you have at your disposal, that we saw with the magician. Meditate on the qualities of the magician within you. Think about your skills. How can you use them to navigate through these barriers? What are you adept at? What is your superpower? Allow those to flourish and to help you navigate these barriers. Next, I want you to visualize and release. Imagine each barrier dissolving or transforming into something positive. As you focus on each of the barriers, visualize opening up and allowing connections to form. You might, then burn that piece of paper that you wrote down those barriers and symbolize, this will symbolize the release and dissolving of those barriers. Okay. Often, what stands out for me here also is a reminder, really, to the word boundaries and our relationship to them. There are boundaries that are enforced, that are like walls and really prevent people getting close to us. And then there are boundaries that are expressed openly in the light of day, that communicate not so much what we don't want, but what we want. And those are much more inviting, but also they're also boundaries that people are more likely to respect. Whereas if this competitive streak is running through the connection and one focuses on establishing boundaries of what they don't want, they can be abrasive, challenging. And so maybe looking at those boundaries that you currently have, seeing how they can be inverted into not so much what you don't want to happen, but maybe what you want to happen. Okay, much more inspiring on the light side, let's say, and I think that'll serve you well. And so this practice, this ritual, as all rituals, close it out with gratitude. Close it out, thank the universe, your higher self, your guidance, and just know that you have all the answers, all the power with you, always. All right. And so now let us turn our attention to the final pile of really how to put yourself out there, how to sort of take action and step forth from the coming days and weeks and months. And the Wheel of Fortune, the Five of Cups, and the Eight of Swords. Okay. And so we start with the Wheel of Fortune, and this card represents the cycles of life, changes, and destiny. And it suggests that, life is always in flux, and I think it encourages you to embrace the changes and chances that come your way. So in terms of putting yourself out there, the Wheel of Fortune really advises you here to take advantage of the shifting energies and to be open to new opportunities. This could mean being more proactive in seeking those social interactions that we hinted at earlier, or simply being open to, unexpected developments in your love life. Now, whenever it concerns love, love is not a rational thing, All right, in the human condition, love is irrational. Doesn't make sense. It's not. We can't strategize for love. We can't plan for love most of the time. And so be open to that. That's the natural sort of essence and energy and vibration of love. And I think if we approach it that way, we will encounter less resistance and more flow. Next, with the Five of Cups, often associated with loss, disappointment, and I think this card can indicate, lingering really on past regrets and focusing too much on what went wrong in previous relationships. So I think the Five of Cups is a reminder here to shift your focus from the past and really towards the potential future that we've articulated here today as a very powerful and encouraging and positive potential. And I think it really, encouraging you to recognize and appreciate the positive possibilities that are still around you always, rather than being held back by those past experiences or sorrows. Okay. Now the Eight of Swords, there's a lot of nuance to this card, but generally this card symbolizes this self-imposed limitations, feelings of being sort of trapped by them as well, and often created by our own doubts and our own fears. And so in the context of putting yourself out there, it suggests that your perception, it might be your biggest barrier here, your perception. It's not necessarily reality, okay? And so the Eight of Swords really encourages you to sort of challenge your mental barriers. Reconsider the narratives you tell yourself about love, about relationships, these sort of big archetypal things, and free yourself from the mental constraints that prevent you from opening up to the new possibilities. So a lot of this is familial as well. Sometimes we inherit these beliefs, these limiting beliefs. So again, very similar to the ritual there that we explored, about clearing those barriers and those blocks. There is something that we can do for our limiting beliefs, that we were self constraints that we can sometimes put ourselves under and prevents us from being open and trusting life. And so there's a couple of strategies that we can sort of include there. Really, inspired by the Wheel of Fortune that we found. Actively seeking out and embracing new experiences and social settings, I think is going to really sort of support you at this time. And remember that being able to provide that warmth, that encouraging, nurturing sort of energy in those social settings is what's going to attract them into being open and wanting to reach out and develop the relationship. And so this will increase your chances of meeting someone special, and it helps to sort of ride the waves of change with optimism, really. Also, release the past based on the lessons of the Five of Cups here. I think creating a ritual or a practice where you consciously decide to let go of the past grievances and experiences. What I do often is help people sort of thank their past experiences and their lessons. And with that, we sort of introduce an energy of gratitude, humility as well, saying thank you for our past mistakes and errors because we learn so much from them, we grow from them. And that will then close the chapter. It'll move on. And then now you're open really from a blank slate of declaration almost to receive what's coming over the horizon with optimism. The limiting beliefs part, really, if we can engage in activities to boost your confidence and challenging those beliefs, to really filter out those limiting beliefs. First, identify the beliefs, write them down, and then challenge them. Maybe if you have a trusted confidant, a friend to help you with them, to sort of see potentially the source of the belief, and then go out and challenge it in activities. So it's a real practical sort of application here. Identify the belief, see where the root of that belief is, then go out and actively challenge it in everyday life. And so as a way of wrapping up the reading here for you today, the sort of key takeaways, if you will, from this, I think your admirer seems to value a mix of stability and passion, indicating that a balanced approach in your interactions could be really beneficial. I think both you and your admirer are in phases of contemplation and transformation, so suggesting that being open to change and honest, engaged in honest self-reflection, I think could facilitate deeper connection, and really encouraging a welcoming environment and showing sort of readiness for love are going to be essential to allowing this potential relationship to blossom. And so also as a reminder, the sort of practices to consider here, that social engagements, right? So participate more actively in social gatherings to create that sort of conducive environment for your admirer to approach you. Remember that. Also, personal reflection. Regularly take time to reflect on your desires and any personal barriers that may be affecting your relationships. Remember what we said about healthy boundaries, what you want as opposed to what you don't want. Emotional release. Consider the rituals that we spoke about and practices that can help you to let go of the past hurts and embrace the potential for the new love. All right. So remember, the path to love is not just about finding the right person, but also about being ready to receive and nurture that connection over a long time, over a long period as well. So your cards here, I think, reflect a beautiful potential for growth and happiness. Stay open, stay positive, and believe in the power of transformation that's always there. Love, it's often a journey of self-discovery as much as it is about discovering another. Embrace this journey with confidence and an open heart, and let the universe take care of the rest. Trust. Love it's on its way to you. I sense that. It's ready to unfold, and it's perfect timing. So trust that you are deserving of this love, and when you're ready, it will reveal itself fully to you. If this has been powerful for you and useful, please drop a heart in the comments. And as always, it's an honor and a pleasure to serve you here today. I'm Maverick Mystic, and I'll see you soon. Take care. Hello and welcome in. Card number 2. This your reading. What is your secret admirer thinking? But also really everything about your secret admirer. We're going to try and gain as much detail as we can today in this reading for you, okay? Find that right up. Hello and welcome in card number 1 to this, your reading, all about your secret admirer. We're going to be exploring this topic today with a variety of different questions and hope to gain some clarity about them, their character, where they're at right now, what are some of their apprehensions, what are some of their visions, expectations, first impressions, etc. All right, so just arrive here at this space with me now as we begin to organize this spread for you. We're going to begin with first choosing our first 3 piles. Are going to initiate pile number 1, okay, for the reading, and then we will continue to draw until we have a total of 9 piles for the reading today, and each pile is going to be addressing different aspects, different questions, different situations. And so the first 3 cards, the World, the 2 of Swords, and the 5 of Wands. Okay, so we'll start with these 3 cards and ask the question, what is it that you need to know about your secret admirer? All right, we'll start with that. Should it resonate, then this is the pile for you, and we'll continue the reading. If not, we would love you to go ahead and please choose from a different pile. But let's begin. So, the World. For me, the World is a card of completion, also fulfillment, and also success. And the wreath here of success, the laurels of victory, if you will. It suggests that your secret admirer may have recently achieved a significant milestone, or is feeling particularly accomplished in their personal or professional life. And this card indicates a person who sees the world as full of opportunities, experiences to be enjoyed and explored. And I think they likely have a well-rounded personality and may have a variety of interests, or maybe they've traveled extensively as well, potentially. I think the presence of the World can also suggest that this person is at a point where they're ready to embark on a new chapter in their life, so available, if you will. The next one, 2 of Swords, it's often about decisions, or in particular stalemates, lack of decision making, also blocked emotions. It suggests that your secret admirer may currently be in a state of indecision, possibly sort of torn between 2 paths or struggling to make a significant choice. This card can indicate that they're deliberately maybe shielding their emotions, or maybe they're avoiding a decision that needs to be made regarding their potential relationships. It may also imply that they have a balanced, though somewhat sort of guarded approach to life, often weighing their options carefully, before sort of going into any commitment. All right, so we're getting a flavor and a sense of where this person may be currently at. All right, with the 5 of Wands representing conflict, competition, struggle with others. In the context of your admirer, I think this card suggests that they may be experiencing some challenges or conflicts, possibly in their social or work environment. It may indicate that they're someone who is used to sort of dealing with opposition or challenges, and they're not afraid to stand up for themselves also. However, I think this card can also imply that their sort of current life circumstances involve some turmoil or some kind of unrest, which might be sort of distracting them or affecting their ability to come forward and really express their feelings. All right. So as a sort of summary there, I think taken together, these cards they paint a picture of someone who has achieved much and sees life full of potential. Yet I think is currently they're facing some important decisions and in some kind of conflict. And so I think your secret admirer appears to be a significant turning point, ready for new experiences, but also possibly holding back by these unresolved conflicts or indecisions about their sort of path forward. They might be sort of figuring out how to balance their personal ambitions with their romantic desires, making them sort of cautious maybe about revealing their feelings until they've kind of resolved these current dilemmas. Okay, all right, so we're going to move on next to pile number 2. And really to sort of discover what are they like romantically. All right, and again, we're going to draw 3 cards for this question. What are they like romantically? So 3 of Wands, 7 of Pentacles, and the 6 of Pentacles. Okay, so these cards for me, right? So we have with the 3 of Pentacles, with the 3 of Wands, it's all about the forward looking. It's about forward thinking. It's about expansion, exploration. And I think in the context of the romantic context here, this card suggests that your secret admirer is someone who looks ahead and thinks about the future possibilities in a relationship, more so than just sort of focused on the impulsive aspects of the exciting first phases of a connection. They're very much forward thinking. It could suggest therefore a sort of maturity in this person. They're likely someone who plans ahead and is optimistic about what's coming up next. I think this is an optimistic card, a positive card, and this could indicate that they're not only sort of hopeful but also proactive in their romantic pursuits, possibly looking for ways to sort of expand and deepen the relationships in an active way. The 7 of Pentacles. So this card often reflects patience, long-term investment. Again, it's a real sort of foresight and planning ahead kind of energy that I'm getting here. It's an evaluation of progress that's made, keeping track. In romance, I think it suggests that your admirer is someone who takes a thoughtful, slow approach to relationships. They likely see romance as something that needs time to grow and develop, and they're willing to wait and nurture their connections. This card also implies that they might be sort of assessing their past romantic efforts, looking back and considering what has been fruitful and what hasn't, which helps them sort of make more informed decisions about future commitments. With the 6 of Pentacles, what I see here is generosity, is sharing, is fairness. Romantically, this indicates that your admirer likely values equality in relationships and is generous with their time, their resources, their affection. I think they strive for a balanced relationship where both partners give and receive sort of equally. And this card shows that they have a kind heart and a fair approach to dealing with others, suggesting maybe that they're considerate, they're attentive to the needs of their partner as well as others. And so, really, as a summary there for this one, I think that the combination of these cards in a romantic context paints your admirer as someone who is future orientated. They're thoughtful, they're generous. They likely approach relationships with a mindset of growth, expansion. That they're patient enough to let things sort of develop at a natural pace. They're not rushing into anything, and I think they're keen on maintaining a sort of balance, on given tasks within the relationship. And I think this suggests really this person, who not only plans for the future, but also I think invests emotionally and practically in their relationships, ensuring that their partner feels valued and cared for. So romantically, overall very positive. So we'll turn now to pile number 3, and we're going to be looking at what is it that caught their attention about you. What is it that they noticed about you? What caught their attention? What is it about you that they noticed? Okay. So we have the High Priestess, the Page of Wands, and the 2 of Cups. And we'll start with the High Priestess. And she's a symbol of, mystery, the mystery even, intuition, and hidden knowledge. And so I think this card suggests that your admirer was drawn to your sort of enigmatic, introspective qualities. Perhaps it was your sort of quiet wisdom or the sense of depth and mystery surrounding you that intrigued them. And the High Priestess often indicates a person who is perceived as intellectually appealing or spiritually profound. and so it's hinting at these aspects of your personality, and I think they made a significant impression on him. Next, the Page of Wands. The Page of Wands represents enthusiasm, exploration, the pursuit of new ideas, and this card to me suggests that your energy, your passion, your creative flair, I think, caught their eye. And so, your admirer likely, they appreciate your adventurous spirit and, your willingness to explore new horizons, whether, in terms of ideas, hobbies, or just life experiences in general. And I think this useful, vibrant energy combined with the zest for life, I think it's likely is what made you stand out to them for sure. Now, the Two of Cups has the essence of reciprocity here, an element of what they're like romantically, so a potential connection there. It's associated with I said that mutual attraction as well, and that connection. And it indicates that your admirer, you felt sort of an immediate emotional or spiritual connection with you. And I think it suggests that there was a feeling of kingship, a sense that you both, you would understand and complement each other well. And this card highlights the reciprocal nature of the attraction. I think it's suggesting that your ability to engage on a deep level, I think it was key to really capturing their interests and their attention. And so, the combination of the High Priestess, the Page of Wands, the Two of Cups, I think in this context, it paints a picture of, someone who is both intriguingly sort of complex and vibrantly engaging. And so your admirer was drawn to both your mysterious and deeper qualities and your expressive, sort of lively persona, I would say. And I think they sense a profound connection that, went beyond the surface level interactions, feeling sort of drawn to both your mind and your spirit. And so this blend of intellectual depth, creative energy, emotional resonance is what made, I think, particularly captivating to them. All right. And so, having said all of that, we're now going to explore the fourth part, which is going to be, why is it that they're not coming forward? What is it that's potentially stopping them? What are they? Are they nervous about something? Is it something that's concerning them? Why is it that they're not currently coming forward? All right, we're going to explore this topic now. Okay, so we have the Four of Swords, very introspective cards. Tower is a fear of change and, some resistance to old structures. And we have the Fool. Okay, so for me, the Four of Swords represents, like I said, this period of rest, of reflection, recuperation. In the context of your admirer's hesitance here, I would say that this card suggests that they might be taking pause to gather their thoughts or recover from past events before making a move. So I think this card indicates a need for quiet and solitude and contemplate their sort of feelings and the potential that risks or benefits of coming forward. And I think it might suggest that they're mentally preparing themselves or needing a break from social interactions to sort of clear their minds. Okay, now the Tower, it's a powerful card, symbolizing that sudden change, upheaval, and sort of revelation as well. And we would sometimes, when these revelations are experienced, they're not always welcome initially, okay, but it is a harbinger of change. And so I think its appearance suggests that your admirer may be going through a significant and possibly a very disruptive change in their life. This could involve personal sort of crisis or major transformations that have sort of put them, left them feeling unstable or uncertain about something. And these upheavals, there might be a reason why they're kind of holding back, as they're trying to deal with the aftermath or the consequences of these sudden shifts in their lives. All right, so maybe some of the reasons why they're sort of hesitant to come forth. With the Fool, it represents new beginnings, adventure, and a sort of carefree approach to life. But it can also indicate sort of naivety and a lack of sort of planning in this setting. And the Fool might suggest that your admirer is contemplating a sort of fresh start or a sort of bold, impulsive move, very much tied to this sort of sudden change that he's experiencing here. So he's really in that sort of juxtaposition there. He's contemplating sort of doing maybe a foolhardy sort of impulsive thing, whatever that may be. It may not be taking action, but it may be something that he's considering. However, I think their sort of their readiness to sort of leap into something new without fully considering the implications might be causing them that hesitation, right? It's because that's not. I don't think that's their nature as such. It's just, like I said, an idea that they're contemplating at the moment. almost as a reaction, as a consequence of the upheaval. And so they might just fear the unknown consequences of sort of revealing their feelings, for example, or perhaps they feel unprepared to handle a new relationship at this time. Okay, so these are some of the elements that I'm picking up at the moment as to why they maybe sort of be not as forthcoming as you may want them to be. But I think these cards suggest a sort of combination of introspection, personal upheaval, a desire for new beginnings. Right, those desires are there. They're factors. I think all of them contributing to why your admirer hasn't come forward at this time. All right. So if we start with the Knight of Wands, it's characterized by enthusiasm, boldness, and a spirit of adventure. So this card suggests taking a proactive and confident approach to really encourage your admirer to come forward. Okay, so it encourages you to show your own enthusiasm and interests, possibly through flirtatious or direct actions that signal your openness. I think the Knight of Wands is all about taking initiative, and I think it can indicate that showing some sort of boldness and a spirit like that might help lessen the hesitancy on the part of your admirer. Okay. With death, this card symbolizes transformation, endings, new beginnings. And so in the context of giving this green light, I think it suggests making a significant changes in how you interact or, in your sort of personal life, might signal sort of a readiness for a new phase. So yeah, I think making significant changes, make significant changes in how you interact in your personal life is what I'm getting there. Yeah, this could involve letting go of past relationships, for example, maybe changing old patterns of behavior, or even transforming how you present yourself to the world, externally, what you wear. But some bold change, signal something of a change is what I'm getting here. Really embracing change openly, I think, can demonstrate to your admirer that you're not only ready but eager for new experiences, including a relationship with them, because they're definitely contemplating this, experiencing at least this transformational change in their lives, and so you can be part of that change. You can present to them something new and adventurous. As for the sun is one of the most positive cards in the tarot deck, so it's symbolizing joy, success, vitality, and this card encourages you to be your most radiant and optimistic self. By really exuding positivity and joy, I think you naturally attract others towards you. I think we all do. And the sun really suggests fostering that warm, welcoming environment around you, and really celebrate your own life, celebrate your own experiences, and what's led you to where you are now. And I think this sort of outward display of happiness and success can be very attractive, and may encourage your admirer to sort of want to become part of your vibrant life. And also the color red, whether that's a dress or those shoes, I think the color red is significant in signaling to them your openness. All right, so bear those in mind as we now explore the secret admirer's feelings and thoughts towards you. Their feelings and thoughts towards you. Okay. All right, so we have the Page of Pentacles, the Queen of Swords, and the Knight of Cups. Right, so let's start with the Page of Pentacles. Often represents a person who is studious, focused, and in the beginning stages of a sort of new endeavor. All right, so remember, this is their current energy and their feelings towards you. Okay, and so in the context of that, this card suggests that your admirer is taking a thoughtful, practical approach towards their feelings for you. And I think they might be planning how to sort of advance things materially or practically with you, such as maybe considering how to sort of create a stable foundation for a potential relationship. And this card indicates a careful, measured approach to expressing their interests, focusing on building something long-lasting together. And I think this is probably their response, mature response, but also what I mean is as a result of the events that's happened to them in their life, a significant event signified by the Tower. I think this is actually a natural response for them. They are very stable and wanting to make sure that the next move is done with intention, is done carefully, because they think it's important, right? So that's what I get from the Page of Pentacles. The Queen of Swords, I think it remains, for me, the Queen of Swords represents clarity. Ultimately, this clear line of thought, independence, the hand symbolizing that sort of direct communication. And unlike the sort of nurturing energy of the Queen of Cups, for example, I think the Queen of Swords suggests that your admirer possesses a sort of a clear-minded, perhaps somewhat detached manner in dealing with their feelings, and this person values above all honesty, and they may be very sort of articulate with their emotions and intentions. They can at least express and communicate well, although sometimes it could come across a little bit aloof or overly sort of rational. And we see that with this sort of tendency to carefully sort of plan and strategize for the future. This card indicates that your admirer respects intellectual engagement, really, and straightforward interactions. Okay, so next with the Knight of Cups, it remains, it's still this is a romantic and idealistic figure, and it represents sort of gestures of love and pursuit of heartfelt connections. And so this card does suggest that despite the sort of practical elements of the Page of Pentacles, for example, and the intellectual Queen of Swords approaches, there is also a strong undercurrent of a romantic desire, at least. And I think your admirer is likely sort of harbors deep feelings for you. I think this is characterized by a desire to sort of express love in sort of poetic or maybe traditional romantic ways, is kind of what I'm seeing here. The knight on shining armor, the white horse, shining armor, is kind of that poetic, romantic kind of sense there. So although they are intellectually sort of more leaning towards that direction when it comes to communicating and expressing, I think they do have a romantic side to them. All right, so that's a general sort of energy check there, and it's they want to communicate clearly. They also want to communicate their feelings towards you. Alongside the sort of practical considerations indicated by the Page of Pentacles and the romantic aspirations of the Knight of Cup, I think it suggests that your admirer is not only thoughtful and romantic, but also they value that clear, honest communication. And I think they may prefer a more sort of straightforward approach to expressing their feelings. All right, so some of the nuances there of the person and what to look out for. So let us turn our attention now to pile number 7 as a potential outcome. What is the potential outcome of this connection? Okay, so potential outcome for this connection. Let's explore some of the dynamics here. Looking forward, what do we have? Strength, 6 of Cups, King of Swords. Okay, interesting. So if we start with the Strength card, this card is a symbol of courage, resilience, and the power of will, shall we say. And in the context of the potential outcomes, I think this card suggests that the relationship may require and also sort of foster a significant amount of emotional and psychological strength from both parties here. I think it implies that overcoming the challenges together, that it could strengthen the bond between you. And especially when we look at the sort of the 6 of Pentacles energy, that reciprocal, balanced approach to the relationship, I think that's what this implies. And I think this card highlights the importance of patience, also of compassion, courage in dealing with relationship issues. And I think it suggests that these qualities could lead to a robust and enduring enduring relationship where both can experience, a sense of freedom, is what I mean. So the next one with the 6 of Cups, this often is associated with nostalgia, with memories, with reunions, and this card, it can indicate a pleasant, harmonious connection that may feel sort of karmically linked or fated in some way. It suggests that the relationship could bring a sense of comfort and joy, reminiscent of a childhood past connection, something like that. And this emotional depth and shared happiness can be a real foundation for a nurturing and mutually supportive relationship where both parties feel emotionally fulfilled and valued. Next is the King of Swords. It represents intellectual clarity, authority, ethical action as well. And so in outcome, in the sort of outcome of your connection, as we look forward to that, I think this card suggests that clear communication, intellectual understanding will be absolutely crucial. We saw that with the Queen of Swords as well, coming up there, and it indicates that your relationship could be characterized by a strong foundation of mutual respect for each other. Again, that reciprocity thread coming through there. Respect for each other's thoughts and opinions. Make space for each of you to be able to express your opinions. They're going to be super valuable in building a strong foundation and being able to tackle the sort of challenges that every relationship experiences, as well as sort of an emphasis on truth. Okay, as well, truth will guide you, I think. This also suggests that maybe one of you or both of you, you're going to take a sort of logical approach to resolving conflicts. I'll sort of really tilting more towards him being that. and and this will, I think, help maintain a healthy, balanced relationship, I feel, overall. Okay. And so, as a way of sort of summary there for that pile there, as a future looking forward, I think for me it paints a promising picture, but it's a detailed sort of picture, and I think it's teaching us to really value clear communication, fairness, and I think overall that's going to give you strength in the relationship as you move forward. Remembering this is as a potential. Okay, this is potential avenues for the relationship moving forward. We're now going to take a look at pile number 8. And this part's going to be looking at potential things that you may be doing consciously or otherwise that may be causing some resistance or blocks in the connection coming into fruition. So what may you be doing consciously or otherwise that may be causing potential blockages for this connection? Okay, so we have 5 of Swords, element of competition coming in there, Temperance, and the King of Pentacles. Interesting. So for me, what I see here first and foremost with the 5 of Swords is this idea of conflict and competition, but it's also unnecessary conflict, right? I think, in the context of what might be preventing the connection, this card suggests to me that there may be behaviors or attitudes such as competitiveness or unnecessary conflict, as I said, or a mindset focused on winning or losing in interactions that could be sort of creating barriers. And often when I see this card, I'm reminded of this style of communication, or 2 different styles of communication which we all engage in. One of it's Nike, the famous brand, adopting that word which means victory, and the other one is philosophia or philosophy. And both of them are very different. One, Nike, is based on winning the argument, so you can imagine a debate setting. And the other one is very much about following the truth and allowing the truth to emerge as both parties engage in honest communication without really the desire for winning, more so to sort of discover what's under the surface, right, and what's actually there. That method of communication is going to really serve you well. So, if you're finding yourself interacting with this person or about to interact with this person, and you find yourself, really in a competitive sort of communication style setting, this is causing a blockage. And so, open yourself up to philosophia, follow the thread of truth, and allow the conversation to emerge organically and see what comes out of it that way. All right. With Temperance, it's about balance, moderation, and really finding a middle ground. All right, so just tie into this card and allowing to see what emerges from that sort of balanced approach. It suggests, really harmonizing opposing aspects of your personality or your life, for both of you. I think it could help in facilitating this connection. And so I think this card really encourages you to seek equilibrium in your emotions and actions. Perhaps focusing on patience is what's coming through for me here, and integrating sort of different parts of your life, more smoothly could help in creating a more inviting, less volatile emotional environment, as a way of clearing out some of those perceived blocks, at least. With the King of Pentacles, representing stability, security, success in material matters. In terms of, what could be preventing the connection from happening, I think this card might suggest that too much focus on material success or a very pragmatic approach to relationships, it could be a sort of deterrent. So what I see here is really, he has a good understanding and a good grip of finances and financial dealings. And for me, as we saw with the Page of Pentacles, that's kind of his thing. And so if you're also there with that, that may be a clash because it's too similar. And so, it may be a case of him being attracted to somebody that's slightly different to him or opposite to him, right? So it's the yin and yang kind of energy coming through there. Is what I'm seeing. Yeah. So really, these sort of blockages. There's things we can do about them. How to sort of integrate some of these behaviors, learned behaviors, and sort of habituated behaviors and thought patterns and beliefs. And so, to help overcome some of that, let's talk about a very simple ritual, for example, that could be implemented here. Start with creating a calm space for yourself. So your environment, your home, maybe it's just a small corner of one room, a bit of fur, a stand, a candle, simplicity, something clean, something clear, uncluttered. And, sit comfortably without interruptions and light that candle. Symbolize the sort of purity of new beginnings, of potential new outcomes in that flame. Write down the barriers. Okay, so on a piece of paper, write down sort of behaviors that are linked to the Five of Swords, that sort of competitive tendencies. The King of Pentacles, maybe write down some of those sort of tight holds on the financial structures in your life and processes. Just, write those sort of energies down there, because all of these are going to be potentially blocking the connection. Competitiveness, overemphasis on material security, constantly talking about it, for example, that could be that type of thing. All right, so write them down. Now meditate and contemplate on temperance, right? So use temperance, use the card of temperance, and to really sort of, in this exercise, reflect on the image of this card, visualize yourself blending various aspects of your life harmoniously. Imagine balancing emotional needs with practical ones, and integrate warmth and security at the same time. Nurturing abundance. Abundance is a good resonance word to tune into. So feel the abundance of life. Feel the abundance of you being enough exactly as you are right now. Having enough, being loved. You are loved. And then as you do this and start to tune into that, resonate with that, visualize each written barrier or blockage that you manage to capture on that piece of paper, dissolving, transforming, and then burn that off. If it's safe to do so, set yourself up to burn that piece of paper off and just observe it burning into the ether, dissolving, and bring that all into a close with gratitude. Thank the universe for supporting you and for clearing out old blockages. And with that ritual, I think that's going to really serve you to integrate some of those learned patterns of behaviors that may be causing some resistance and blockage at this time in the connection. All right. So now we're going to turn to the final card, card number 9, where we're going to be looking at, really how to put yourself out there, how to take that leap of faith. We're going to discuss some possible strategies that you could implement in doing so. And we have the Four of Cups, the Knight of Pentacles, and the Queen of Wands. Okay, so as we contemplate these cards, what I see here, starting with the Four of Cups, it represents missed opportunities, apathy, or maybe sort of, or contemplation as well. Depends what resonates. It suggests that you might be sort of overlooking potential romantic opportunities, either because of disinterest, distraction, or dissatisfaction. Okay, is what I'm getting there. Disinterest, distraction, dissatisfaction. All right, so they're the three that may be causing you to miss those potential opportunities, as we see here represented by the Fourth Cup. And this card, I think, is advising you to reevaluate your current emotional landscape, all right, to see if there are any opportunities for love that you are maybe ignoring or not fully appreciating in your immediate environment and vicinity. Okay, so that's the first thing to consider. Four of Cups. Knight of Pentacles, it's known for, for his sort of diligence, responsibility, methodical approach to achieving his goals, this kind of steadfast, strong, big horse, reliable, and this methodical approach to achieving his goals is like a systematic thing. And in terms of putting yourself out there, I think this card suggests adopting a more pragmatic, a steady approach to seeking love, an element of it at least. And I think it encourages you to be sort of consistent in your efforts, perhaps by being more reliable, maybe showing up fully in your interactions with potential partners. And it also indicates, the value of patience and not rushing the process of finding love, I would say. With the Queen of Wands, it's a figure of charisma, confidence, social energy. So this card encourages you to be outgoing, to be assertive, engaging in your social interactions. And I think it suggests tapping into your charm, into your warmth to attract love. And I think advocating for a confident approach where you embrace and express your passions and creativity. And so the Queen thrives on social interactions. So I think increasing your visibility in social settings, I think, can enhance your chances of meeting someone special, right? And so, this is really, as we wrap up this reading here, I think the combination of these cards, they're providing a sort of strategy of putting yourself out there. It's asking you to be more open to seeing love and possibilities around you. Possibly moving past any sort of emotional stagnation that there may be there. The Knight of Pentacles advising this sort of steady, consistent approach to relationships, emphasizing reliability, emphasizing patience, And also, the Queen encourages you to leverage your natural charisma, your enthusiasm to draw people towards you. Okay, so be more present and observant. Okay, when you're in those social situations, recognize potential opportunities for connections that you might currently be overlooking. Um, you know, Adopt a pragmatic approach to dating, I would say, as the takeaway. Set realistic expectations, showing up consistently as your true self always. Also embrace and express your passions. Also, really allow your natural charisma, your warmth to shine through in the interactions with others. All right, and so I think this holistic approach can make you more approachable, ready to welcome new love into your life. And I think with this understanding, you're equipped to make positive changes in how you sort of engage with the world and potential partners. Are you ready to take these steps and see where they lead you? In your journey of love, as it takes a sort of courageous, bold step, but I think there's some clearly laid strategies there that are going to help you on your way. So that concludes the reading for you today. If this has resonated for you, then please, we'd love you to go ahead and drop a sun into the comments. Drop a sun in the comments. Let us know that this has resonated with you and enable us and myself to continue to deliver value and be of service to you. And as always, thank you for helping me to be of service to you here today and for choosing me, Maverick Mystic. And I look forward to doing this again soon. In the meantime, take care. Much love. Bye-bye. Hello and welcome in card number 3 to this, your reading all about your secret admirer. We're going to be exploring various dimensions here today, and we're going to first start with the first pile, which we will look at what you need to know about your secret admirer. And the first 3 cards are the Four of Cups, Queen of Wands, and the High Priestess. Right. So the first thing we're looking at, this is all to do with really features, characteristics about this secret admirer and who they might be. And so the Four of Cups often represents apathy, contemplation, missed opportunities. All right. So in terms of your admirer's personality, I think this card might suggest that they are currently feeling a little dissatisfied or maybe disconnected from their sort of surroundings and where they're at right now. I think it could indicate a phase where they are maybe reconsidering their current situation or life choices. Perhaps they're feeling that something significant is sort of lacking in their emotional life. And I think this sense of introspection or emotional withdrawal could be a sort of key aspect of their current sort of outlook, we could say. Queen of Wands. Queen of Wands is a figure of charisma, of energy, assertiveness, and she's passionate, social, vibrant, often at the center of attention. So I think this card also suggests that your admirer possesses that strong, dynamic personality and is likely very, very active in their social, professional life. And I think they exude confidence. They're often driven by passions and desires. And this might contrast with their sort of introspective nature suggested by the Four of Cups. This could indicate then a sort of complex individual, really, with both outgoing and reflective sides, potentially. Now, the High Priestess, this represents intuition, mystery, hidden knowledge, and I think this card suggests that your admirer has a deep, perhaps spiritual or mystical side. And I think they value the unseen aspects of life, which is quite rare generally, and they are likely very intuitive, and they may have insights that others do not perceive easily. And I think the presence of the High Priestess indicates a depth to their personality, really hinting at a rich inner life and a capability for profound emotional, intellectual experiences. And I think this could be the reason why they're having this sort of dissatisfaction potentially with their current environment. It may be on the back of some deep work that they've done for themselves and self-discovery, realizing that maybe some misalignment going on there for them. And so I think the cards for this first pile reveal, secret admirer who is both introspective and vibrant, possessing a complex sort of personality that balances social dynamism with introspection. And the Four of Cups suggest they may be currently reevaluating their emotional satisfaction, possibly feeling a sense of longing or disconnect of some sort. With the Queen of Wands, it highlights their charisma, their assertive nature, while the High Priestess, again, as I said, that really intuitive, mysterious qualities. Okay, so intriguing blend, to say the least. And so if this resonates, this is the pile for you. If not, we'd love you to go ahead, choose from a different pile, and we'll go from there. Next, we're going to look at pile number 2 and really explore what they're like romantically. Okay, what are they like romantically? And one more. Okay. Temperance, Four of Swords, Nine of Cups. Right. So let's start with Temperance here, representing representing balance, representing harmony, moderation. And in the romantic context, I think this card suggests that your admirer seeks a relationship that is balanced, that is harmonious. They likely value emotional stability. They strive for a peaceful, steady connection. And temperance indicates that they are patient. They take their time to ensure that things are done correctly in relationships. I think they're aiming for a deep, meaningful connection overall, that rather than the sort of superficial encounter, I would say. Um, the next one, the Four of Swords. So this signifies rest, reflection, recuperation. Romantically, this card suggests that your admirer may currently be in a period of pause, contemplation regarding their love life. They might be taking time to recover from past relationships, or maybe to reflect on, what they truly seek in a partner. And I think this pause indicates a need for emotional, mental clarity before proceeding with new romantic endeavors, I would say. Now, with the Nine of Cups, often referred to as the sort of the wish card, the Nine of Cups represents, satisfaction, contentment, emotional fulfillment, and this card therefore suggests that your admirer has a hopeful, optimistic outlook towards romance, and I think they may believe in the sort of ideal of achieving a perfect, fulfilling relationship. I think it indicates that they feel contentment with where they are in life emotionally, or they aspire to reach such a level. I would think that it's more an aspiration rather than, at the moment, because we understand this sort of apathy or this discontentment. But I think this is more about the environment rather than emotional. But I think they are after that emotional fulfillment. So I think this is basically a sort of contemplative look forward as a vision. Um, Contentment, emotional fulfillment, romantic endeavors, that kind of thing. So yeah, so that's where they're at romantically. I think this card, paints a picture of someone who is contemplating a balanced, strong desire for emotional fulfillment with their romantic life. Yeah, Temperance and the Four of Swords together suggest that your admirer takes a careful, balanced approach to relationships in general, really preferring to reflect and ensure that emotional stability rather than sort of rushing into things. And the Nine of Cups adds that sort of layer of optimism and contentment, suggesting that they're either satisfied. Well, they're not satisfied currently emotionally, but I think that they see the satisfaction that comes from having a loving relationship there. All right, let us now take a look at what was it that caught their attention about you. What is it that made them that secret admirer in the first place? Um, and see what we can gain as a way of insight into that. So we have the Seven of Cups, the Star, and the Five of Cups. Okay, and so we'll start with the Seven of Cups. Um, so typically it represents choices, illusions, sometimes confusion in the face of many sort of options. I think this card suggests that your admirer may have been drawn to you because of a certain enigmatic or mysterious quality. It could indicate that they see you as complex with sort of many layers and facets to your personality, or that you present sort of many intriguing possibilities or potentials. And I think this aura of mystery, and perhaps it could very well be very appealing to someone who appreciates complexity and thoughtfulness. And I think there's a spiritual element to that, and I think they see the sort of many layers of you, and I think that was very attractive to them initially. Now, the star is a card of hope, inspiration, of serenity. Also, it often indicates a sense of calm and positive, uplifting sort of spirit. And your admirer may have been attracted to your optimism and your ability to inspire or bring hope to others. And I think the star here really suggests that they see you as a guiding light, or as a source of comfort, someone who radiates positivity and possibly has spiritual or idealistic sort of qualities that they find deeply appealing, particularly the spiritual ones, I think. As we've discovered that this person does have a spiritual aspect through the high priestess, as we saw. Next is the Five of Cups, and it deals with loss, with disappointment, focusing on what's gone rather than what remains, as we see here. But in the context of what drew them to you, I think this card could suggest that your admirer was moved by a perceived sort of vulnerability or a sense of depth that comes from experiencing and overcoming personal sorrow. It's in your overcoming, I think, that they found that inspiring, attractive. They may feel sort of kinship or a desire to sort of comfort or connect with you on an emotional level, really sensing that you've experienced losses and have the sort of depth of character that comes from those experiences. And I think that you both will resonate with that and support each other in that. And so really the combination of these cards, I think, indicates the admirer was, captivated by both the depth and the sort of uplifting qualities. The Seven of Cups and the Five of Cups, together suggest that, they're intrigued by the complexity and the emotional depth. Okay, so perhaps sensing both your vulnerabilities and your multi-layered nature of your personality. And the star really adds a significant positive dimension, indicating that they also see you as an inspiring presence, someone who exudes hope and positivity, and despite the personal challenges. All right. So what we'll do now is we're going to look at pile number 4, and in this we're going to ask the question of what is it that's stopping them from coming forward? Why aren't they coming forward themselves? What is it that's potentially preventing them from doing so at this time? Why aren't they coming forward? Okay, so for that we have the Knight of Swords, Wheel of Fortune, and the Ace of Swords. And in the context of, why aren't they coming forward, we start with the Knight of Swords. Well, for me, it's known, this card's known for its sort of the quick actions, quick thinking, right? This is what that card represents. This card represents directness, sometimes sort of impulsive actions. And I think this card suggests that you admire maybe someone who typically acts very decisively and with confidence. I think, however, in the context of this connection and not coming forward, it may indicate that their usual assertiveness is being sort of tempered by other factors, or perhaps they feel that acting impulsively in this particular situation might not be wise. And I think they could be maybe overthinking or strategizing their sort of approach a little bit more than usual, which is maybe holding them back. Not necessarily a negative thing, but I think that may be some of the elements that's going on for them at the moment. The Wheel of Fortune representing changes, cycles, fate, and this card suggests that external circumstances and changes beyond their sort of control may be influencing their decision, not to come forward. It could be that they are waiting for the right time, or they feel that the situation currently is a little bit too unstable or a little bit too unpredictable. And so the Wheel of Fortune indicates that they may believe in sort of a sense of destiny and fate playing a role in bringing you together, which could lead to sort of a bit of apparent passivity, sort of being a bit passive about his actions, or a sort of reliance on the right moment kind of, ideas arriving by chance, and so holding out, waiting, pausing, waiting for the right moment. Okay, so those are some of the elements that I'm picking up there. With the Eight of Swords, this card symbolizing restrictions, really self-imposed limitations and feelings of being trapped. Self-deception as well. This card strongly suggests that your admirer feels a little stuck, a little constrained, possibly by their own sort of doubts, their own fears, their own misconceptions, hesitations. They might feel as though they're sort of blindfolded a little bit and unable to move forward, maybe trapped by their thoughts or by situations that make them feel powerless to act on, their feelings. So there's a lot of hesitation, a lot of internal hesitation going on, I think, for them at this time. And I think the combination of these cards indicates that your admirers really caught between their sort of natural tendency to be direct, assertive, and a sense of timing and fate. Additionally, I think they're likely struggling with a little bit of internal barriers going on that prevent them from moving forward. Fears, doubts, possibly sort of misconceptions about how their feelings will be received by you potentially. Okay, so some of the elements of why it is that they aren't coming forward at this time. Let us now turn to pile number 5, where we're going to explore what it is that you can do to really signal the green light for them to approach and to have the conversation of the connection, of the relationship. What is it that you can do to really signal to them that you're open to that connection? And we have the Knight of Pentacles, the World, and the Ace of Pentacles. And so let us start with the Knight of Pentacles. And it represents diligence, it represents reliability, methodical sort of approach to achieving goals, etc. And I think this card suggests really taking a steady, reliable approach to interactions with your admirer. Now, granted, you may or may not know who this secret admirer is, of course. But if that is relevant, if that is in the right context, demonstrating consistency and dependability in your own actions can signal to them that it's safe and that it's worthwhile to advance. But just as a general sort of message, really receiving from the cards here to sort of perform, or not perform, but to definitely sort of lean into this dependable sort of archetype, I think is going to be beneficial. And it's all about stability, concrete progress. So showing that you're grounded, the stabilizing influence that you can have, I think might be key to encouraging them to really come forward. The world, well, it signifies completion. It signifies achievement, success, or successful conclusions. And I think it suggests that creating an environment that feels complete, welcoming, can be attractive. So showing that you're open to embracing new relationships or phases in life could, communicate that you're ready to start a new chapter together. I think the world encourages embracing connections that bring a sense of fulfillment and really celebrating relationships that feel enriching and complete, a wholesome relationship. With the Ace of Pentacles, it's about new beginnings, particularly those offering growth in material or physical realms. And I think this card suggests offering or maybe even initiating small, tangible gestures that can sort of lead to bigger things. Whether it's suggesting a casual meeting, providing a small gift, or just creating opportunities for physical interactions, a walk in the park, for example. I think these actions can lay the groundwork for something more substantial. And I think it indicates that practical, tangible steps are likely to resonate well, I think, with your admirer. Okay, so really, I think the cards here are encouraging sort of that practical, welcoming, open approach, and demonstrate stability, reliability in your interactions, and sort of build trust and confidence. I think really expressing openness to new experiences with the world, showing that you're ready for significant relationships can be also very inviting. And as the Ace of Pentacles there, just recommending making those tangible gestures. I think that will start the small, but have potentially grow into into more things, and showing your admirer that you're interested in exploring practical aspects of the relationship. Let us now just explore this person's current energy. Where are they at? Their current energy, and some of the dynamics at play there for them. All right, so we have the Three of Swords, the Hanged Man, and the Two of Pentacles. All right, so what I'm reading into this is really a couple of things, centered around the Three of Swords. And this typically represents heartache, separation, or some sort of emotional pain. I think in the context of your admirer's feelings here, I think this card suggests that he may be experiencing some form of emotional distress, or related to the feelings either for you or possibly due to complications in their personal life that impact their sort of romantic feelings, if you know what I mean. It could indicate a recent disappointment or a painful realization that is currently sort of influencing their emotional state. All right, there's two sort of things there. Either it's something they've experienced with yourself, or a past relationship, or in their personal life in general. With the Hanged Man symbolizing a period of suspension, waiting, and seeing things from new perspectives. I think this card suggests that your admirer is in a state of limbo, really, regarding the feelings for you. I would say possibly they're just pausing to gain more clarity or understanding before they make a move. I think it indicates that they are definitely contemplating their situation deeply, perhaps sacrificing immediate actions for deeper insights into what the future could hold, and what they truly want. And so whenever this comes up, this is a symbolic card for sacrifice as well. So it's good to pause and to sort of write down in major life changes and situations and decisions and choices. Write down what our sacrifices will be. Making sacrifices consciously are much better than later, realizing that you sacrificed something and sort of being a little angry or resentful or bitter about it. So if you can capture your sacrifices that will be made coming into this relationship, because there's always something that will have to be sacrificed, as long as you're aware of it and you're willing then to step forward with that, then that will really alleviate resentment further down the line, let's say. Slight tangent away from how he is, his current feelings and energy towards you, but I thought it's always worthwhile bringing that up and reminding you whenever we come across the Hanged Man. Right, so the Two of Pentacles. The Two of Pentacles, it deals with balance, it deals with juggling responsibilities, it deals with sort of adapting to changes, and I think this card suggests that your admirer is trying to manage their emotions while also handling other life responsibilities, and it could be related to what we said in the Three of Swords, this personal experience that's happened. And really, it can indicate a real struggle to maintain equilibrium and balance between their personal feelings and their external duties, right? So it could be causing them a little bit of stress. It could be causing them to making them hesitant to commit to any decisive action at this time. Okay, so there's the general sort of energy check. There's a bit of limbo. There's a bit of sort of hesitancy going on there for them, and I think they're in some sort of emotional pain or heartache of some kind that they're navigating, and they're really sort of just waiting out, trying to gain new perspective, taking their time there. So if you're experiencing that sort of disconnect, if you know who they are, if you have that sort of connection, then that's the relevant information that I'm getting there, really. So let us now explore pile number 7. And in this pile, we're going to be exploring potential outcomes in this connection, in this relationship. Potential outcomes for the relationship, all right? Okay. We have Ten of Swords, the Knight of Wands, and the Devil. Okay, and so if we start with the Ten of Swords, it symbolizes typically an end or defeat or a conclusion of a painful cycle. I think this is related to their current emotional state as well. And in terms of the relationship outcomes, though, I think this card can indicate that the current path, it may lead to disappointing end, or that it might be necessary to confront and accept certain painful truths to move forward. So the current trajectory, the current state that they're in, if they have to play that out with their current belief patterns and behaviors and etc. and perspectives, right? That's the hangman symbolizing that change of perspectives that might support them. If they do that diligently and well, then there's no need to sort of carry on down this particular path that's suggested with the Ten of Swords. Because it does suggest that there may be significant challenges that could be difficult to overcome, potentially leading to ending or significant transformation to the current situation. So, depending on a few things, a few factors that need to be addressed will determine the outcome. But if I then bring in let's first go to Knight of Wands before we go to the Devil. The Knight of Wands for me associated here with the energy of passion and adventure. And this card indicates that despite the sort of potential difficulties, I think there may be a strong drive and enthusiasm from one or both of you to really pursue the relationship. And I think that the Knight of Wands brings a dynamic energy that can help overcome obstacles through courage, really, and that sort of vitality. And so it suggests that if pursued, the relationship could be intense and full of sort of passionate moments, but possibly a little erratic or maybe sort of impulsive in nature. So bear in mind those dynamics. And so let's bring in the Devil now. And this often represents attachments, materialism, and sort of unhealthy behaviors or patterns. And so in the context of this relationship, it could signify that there are aspects of dependency, obsession, or negative cycles that need to be addressed. And again, I think this is pointing to this situation, this personal situation that may be causing this sort of painful emotional experience for him. And so really this codependency, these repeat patterns, the stuckness around the past events, experiences, they need to be addressed essentially. And I think this card is calling that out again, so as to not repeat the cycles. And it can indicate that the sort of connection might have elements that are restrictive or unhealthy, such as codependency or an inability to sort of break free from toxic patterns. So I would just use that as a sort of a real illuminating element and factor to be aware of codependency, and that codependency is emerging from his past experiences. And we don't want those to sort of carry over and leak into this relationship and sort of perpetuate the old patterns of the old relationships into the new connection, right? So there's work to be done, but I think it can be addressed, it can be resolved, for sure. All right, so look, we're going to look now at pile number 8, and this is really a look at what may be some of the things that you may be doing to prevent this connection yourself. Okay, so we see here the dynamics at play for him and some of his internal struggles. But is there anything that you may be doing also to sort of contribute to the resistance to this connection not happening? We'll look at that next. All right, and so is there anything that you're doing that could be causing a little bit of resistance, potential blockages, anything that you may be doing? Let's have a look. Okay, so we have the Moon, the Four of Wands, and the Knight of Wands. All right, so if we start with the Moon, and the Moon represents confusion. It represents, illusions, maybe some unclear perceptions. And this card suggests that there may be some misunderstandings, is what I'm picking up here, some misconceptions, or a lack of clarity that are sort of contributing to the challenges in this connection, from this connection happening. It could be that the emotions or fears are clouding your judgment, maybe leading to sort of mistrust or misinterpretation between you and this person. And I think the moon indicates the need to clear up a bit of confusion, to seek deeper understanding and sort of truth in the situation, I would say. Um, Whereas the Four of One typically signifies celebration, stability, happy sort of conclusions. Often it's related to home, to family life, and so in the context of what might be preventing the connection, I think this might suggest that you're possibly too focused on achieving a certain ideal of a domestic or sort of a relational happiness, which it might be putting pressure on the situation. Due to the past experiences that they've had, sort of having this idealistic sort of family unit or union, general union, maybe putting some added pressures that may not be necessary at this time. So that's kind of what I'm getting there. Alternatively, it could imply that there are current commitments or celebrations that are taking your attention away from this potential relationship as well, right? So it could be one of the other one of the two really there, whichever one you relate to the most. Um, the next is the King of Wands, right? So the King of Wands is charismatic. It's a bold leader, right? He's full of energy and initiative. This card, therefore, might suggest that your strong personality or your desire to lead and be in sort of control could be overwhelming or intimidating to the admirer. It might be necessary to sort of balance your assertiveness with a bit of openness, allow vulnerability, and really sort of look at the mutual sort of exchange rather than trying to sort of dominate the relationship dynamics, as maybe an old tendency, an old pattern to do. Be aware of that. So in terms of a summary for what you may be doing there, the combination of these cards suggests there is an internal conflict, and there's also external pressures that might be sort of contributing factors to what's preventing this deeper connection. Okay, so addressing these issues, it may involve becoming sort of more aware and adjusting your expectations and behaviors a little bit, balancing a little bit of leadership qualities and openness with vulnerability, and sort of really help create a more welcoming environment for that person. All right. So what we'll look at now is card number 9, or sorry, pile number 9. And in this, we're going to be exploring what is it that you can do to sort of really put yourself out there, to really encourage this person to come forward. What are some of the things that you could do? Okay, so we have the Tower, the Fool, the Magician, 3 major arcana to finish the reading. It's powerful. And so let's start with the Tower. And the Tower represents a sudden, often sort of disruptive change that breaks down existing structures. In the context of putting yourself out there, I think it suggests that breaking free from past constraints and sort of dramatically changing your usual approach to relationships could be necessary. Now, that could be taking a sort of an educational kind of angle and learning how to sort of relate in a different way. Doing some inner work about that, whatever it may be. But I think it's asking for a drastically different way to approach relationships that you've never tried before. And it really indicates that there may be a need to let go also of old habits, of old beliefs or emotional baggage that have been sort of holding you back, potentially paving the way for that fresh new start. That's essentially what is, I think, being indicated here. This big change, different ways of doing relating, let's say. The Fool. The Fool symbolizes new beginnings. It goes hand in hand with that sort of sudden change, that new changes, new beginnings. Take risks. It's about embracing a journey with a sort of open heart and mind, regardless of the outcome. And I think this card encourages you to adopt a sort of carefree, optimistic approach when putting yourself out there. It's about being open to possibilities without fear of what the future holds, I would say. Really embodying the spirit of adventure in your pursuit for love. The Fool's energy, invites you here to explore new ways of connecting with others, possibly, stepping out of the comfort zone as well. All right. Embrace that newness, and that with that comes a little bit of fear and of the new, and that's fine. Embrace it. I think that's the message there. With the Magician, it's all about manifestation, resourcefulness, using available tools to achieve your goals. And I think this card suggests that you have all the capabilities at your disposal to attract and foster love. Okay, so it encourages you to use your skills, communicate, use your communication abilities, a personal charm to really create the relationships you desire. Okay, and the magician is a reminder of your personal power. It's your influence, the power to influence your world, and the importance of intention and focus in attracting love. All right, so you're a powerful being, and the magician has the potential to create newness as well. All right, they're aware of patterns, and it's in your power to really uh, create that new experience for yourself. All right, and so I think you know there's a couple of sort of strategies that come along with what to do with how to embrace that love, and I think the first thing is embrace change, right? So be willing to dramatically change your approach to dating and relationships if necessary. Okay, so let go of old patterns that no longer serve you is one of the strategies I would say. The other one is take risks. Approach new relationships with a sense of adventure, openness, and without fear of the unknown. I think that if that will hold you back if you don't, if you have the fear of the unknown, allow you to grip you. Another one would be to use your skills. Okay, so harness your personal abilities, your charm to engage with potential partners. Be proactive in creating opportunities to meet and connect with others. All right, and if you do that, I think these sort of insights and strategies, I think they all suggest a proactive stance in transforming how you approach love, encouraging you to make bold moves and use your personal power to create those outcomes that you desire. Okay, and so yeah, let's embrace that change. All right, and so really as key takeaways here to wrap up your reading today, I think the big one is to embrace change and transformation. And for that, engage, as I said, in sort of a ritual of release of old habits or fears. Now, there are many things out there that we can do, but really being aware of these fears is the first step. And just acknowledging them, capturing them, writing them down, burning them off in sort of a ritual practice is going to be helpful for you, I would say, and helping you to sort of let go. Right, it's a ritualized process. It takes time. Do that consistently over several times throughout the week. I think that's going to really support you. Reflection is great for gaining clarity. So, we have three sort of main states of consciousness, and we have concentration, we have meditation, and right there in the middle is contemplation. It's that sort of, blankly kind of staring out the window, allowing ideas to sort of percolate. And I think through that state, while pondering on those fears, while pondering on the ideal relationship, while pondering on where you currently are, what are some of the changes that you want to make in your life, I think that contemplative state is going to really support you in integrating the reading here today. All right. Yeah, don't forget, use your resources, use your charm, use your character. You are a vibrant person, and many people are attractive to your energy. Lean into that, be adventurous. The Fool really encouraging you to take that leap of faith at this time, to try something new. Okay, and so yeah, as you navigate the waters of a potential love with your secret admirer here, remember that each step is part of a great journey towards self-discovery and connection to yourself as well as others. So embrace the lessons of the cards, with an open heart, an open mind. Trust in your power to manifest the love that you desire and you deserve. And I think your path is, ultimately with the stars, and potential for each step you take is a sort of dance of possibility and promise. And so let love be a joyful pursuit, and may your heart be open to the wonders that it brings. And I just want to say thank you for trusting me with your reading here today. I'm Maverick Mystic, and I hope to see you again soon. If you got some benefit out of this, you found this insightful, please go ahead and drop a sword into the comments. Lets us know that this has been valuable, and I look forward to next time. As always, take care and much love. Hello and welcome in. Card number 4 to this. You're reading about your secret admirer, everything about them. We're going to gain as much detail about them, where they're at, what they're feeling, what they're thinking. We're also going to explore some of the blockages in the connection, the potential for the connection. And please join me in taking a nice deep breath, centering yourself, becoming aware, trusting your intuition, and just allowing the cards here to guide you, to inform you, to offer insights for you to take those next steps and make those decisions a little easier with a little bit more clarity. Okay, so what we're going to do is begin today with the first pile. We're going to have a series of piles, 9 in total. We're going to traverse through this reading, and each of the piles will have 3 cards that will give us a substantial amount of detail. And we're going to start today with Characteristics of this secret admirer of yours, and we're starting with the Sun, the Queen of Wands, and the Four of Cups. Interesting mix here. And so we begin with the Sun, and the Sun is a highly positive card in tarot, representing joy, success, vitality, and radiant energy. And so when it comes to understanding your secret admirer's personality, let's say, I think the Sun suggests here that they are likely positive, a positive person. I think they're a vibrant individual who brings light and happiness to those around them. And I think this card points to an optimistic person with a sunny disposition, we could say. Possibly someone who is generally successful and well regarded in their personal and professional life as well. With the Queen of Wands, this queen, she represents charisma, determination, passion. She often represents someone who is not only socially active and engaging, but also highly creative or entrepreneurial. Um, this card suggests for me that your admirer is likely very confident, attractive, capable of achieving whatever they set their minds to. And I think they are possibly seen as a leader in their circle, known for their sort of energy, as we saw here with the Sun, and their ability to inspire others. The Four of Cups, in contrast to the other two cards, really, often signifies a sense of discontentment or even apathy, a sense of disillusionment. And I think it might suggest that despite their sort of outward success and vibrant personality, I think your admirer could be experiencing a phase of introspection or dissatisfaction with their current emotional state. They might be reevaluating what truly makes them happy, for example, or feeling a bit disconnected from their current life's path. Okay, and so a sort of summary here, I would say that combining these cards, I think it appears that your secret admirer is someone who generally has a positive and an influential presence, we could say, full of life and passion. Yet I think internally they may be dealing with some discontent or seeking deeper emotional fulfillment. And I think this contrast between their external sort of vivacity and their internal contemplation, I think provides a sort of fuller picture of their complex personality. And I think they are likely someone who is not only capable of attracting, but also introspective and possibly in search for more meaningful connections and new source of happiness, we could say. Next, we're going to explore what they are like romantically. So let's explore that now. Again, we're going to choose 3 cards. What are they like romantically? What are they like romantically? And see what we have for this. Okay, 5 of Wands, 7 of Cups, King of Pentacles. Okay then, so let's start with the 5 of Wands. And typically it represents competition, conflict, or struggle even. And I think in the romantic context, I think this card might suggest that your admirer often finds themselves in situations where there is competition for attention or affection. It could indicate that their romantic life is somewhat sort of chaotic or contested, maybe involving sort of multiple interests or challenges that they sort of have to navigate. And I think this card can also represent that internal conflict regarding romantic choices. Okay, so conflict is what I sense first, internal and external. Again, we've got that juxtaposition with this person. There's very much 2 realities and 2 worlds, and a little contrasting actually with them. What I see so far. The 7 of Cups symbolizes choices, fantasies, sometimes confusion. And I think this card suggests that your admirer might have sort of idealistic views about love or face sort of confusion about what they truly want in the relationship. So again, we've got those 2 polarities. I think it could indicate that they really struggle to make a clear decision in love due to being overwhelmed by options potentially, or caught up in unrealistic romantic fantasies. Okay, so it's one of those 2. It's like this person is successful, very attractive, they have a high level of magnetism, and so they may be in looking at different choices and they're a little bit overwhelmed. And I think this card points to a need for clarity in romantic desires and their choices. The King of Pentacles, this is stability, this is security, this is practicality in handling, different matters. And I think in terms of romance, this card suggests that despite the potential chaos and the indecisions indicated by the other cards, I think your admirer has a desire at least to be in a stable, be in a with a dependable partner. They likely value being long-term commitment, in a long-term commitment, and I think they're capable of providing a comfortable and secure relationship. I think this card points to their potential to be responsible and generous, as a partner. I think once they resolve their conflicts and make that decision. Okay, so Good potential there, but a lot of pulling and throwing, a lot of tension in this individual that I sense. Let us turn now to what is it about you that caught their attention? What is it that made them the secret admirer in the first place? What caught their attention? What caught their attention? Okay, again, 3 cards. Let's see if we can get a nice bit of nuance and detail here. 5 of Swords, 10 of Swords, and the World. Okay, interesting. All right, so let us start with the 5 of Swords then. The 5 of Swords, often represents conflict again, a defeat, and sort of the cost of winning, shall we say? And I think this card suggests that your admirer was drawn to you during a moment of personal challenge or conflict in which you may have been involved potentially. It might be that they noticed how you handled the conflict or the adversity. Perhaps your ability to sort of stand your ground or to navigate a tricky social dynamic sort of piqued their interest, I think. I think this card can also imply that they saw something in your behavior or your attitude during a difficult situation that really, I think, resonated with them. So, um, conflict is definitely the through line here, it seems. Right, let's actually go to the Ten of Swords. For me, this symbolizes a painful ending, a betrayal, or a deep wound. In terms of what caught their attention, I think this card suggests that they were struck by your resilience or the way you handled a particular difficult ending or a setback. Again, probably related to that 5 of Swords card that we saw earlier. And I think there's a sense of being moved by your strength in overcoming and enduring a significant challenge, and possibly, relating to personal loss or betrayal and how you navigated it. I think that really caught their attention. Next, the world signifies, completion, achievement, a successful conclusion. And I think following the themes of the previous cards here, the through line, the world may indicate that your admirer was attracted to your ability to really close one chapter of your life and begin another with sort of grace and a sense of accomplishment. And I think they might admire your sort of worldly experience, your sense of completion, or the holistic approach you take towards life in general. And this card suggests they see you as someone who has a well-rounded character and who has successfully navigated through life's ups and downs. So really, this third pile of what attracted them to you, I think, suggests that they caught your admirers. Your characters caught your admirers' attention, and in particular the way you handled these difficult situations and these transitions. I think they're really drawn to your resilience and how you deal with conflict and closure, and they admire your ability to complete those cycles and successfully, and to really the sort of the readiness to embrace a new chapter in life. All of that, your strength is very, very attractive to them. Okay. And so, having said all of that, what we want to explore now is, the attraction is clearly there. What is it that why aren't they coming forward? Why aren't they making themselves known? Why are they still your secret admirer? So why are they not coming forward? What is it that may be preventing them at this time from making that decision? And we know there's a little bit of confusion, a little bit of overwhelm going on there, but let's see if we can get some more clarity on that. We've got the Page of Wands, 8 of Wands, 2 of Cups. Okay. And so we start with the Page of Wands, and typically it represents enthusiasm, exploration, new beginnings of of a creative or a passionate journey. And I think in this context, why are they not coming forward? I think it suggests your admirer may still be in the sort of early stages of exploring their feelings for you. There's a sort of newness to it. And I think they could be sort of hesitant to come forward because I think they're still trying to figure out the implications of these feelings. They're not yet ready to take, definitive action, as they're still at a stage of discovery and excitement about the potential, I would say, with the Page of Wands. With the 8 of Wands, it's a card of rapid movement and quick developments. Okay, so this card suggests that things in your admirer's life may be moving very quickly, perhaps too quickly for them, I think, to feel sort of comfortable making romantic advances. I think they might feel overwhelmed by the pace of changes in their personal and professional life, which could be preventing them from really coming forward at this time. There's just a lot going on, and it's happening very fast for them, I would say. So there's another factor that may not be coming forward at this time. With the 2 of Cups, this is about connections, about partnership, it's about a mutual attraction and respect. It's a highly positive card in the context of relationships, and I think indicating a real strong potential here for a harmonious bond. The presence of this card here, I think, suggests that the reason why they haven't come forward, it might not be due to sort of lack of interest. I think it's, or even the sense of connection, but rather there's definitely some external factors, or maybe some timing issues. I think they recognise the potential for a deep, meaningful relationship, but I think they may feel, there are some I think they feel a little held back by circumstances, or they're not yet ready to sort of engage fully at this time. It's a bit of a timing thing for them, but again, due to the sort of overwhelming choices that they may have, or how their personal or their professional life is going at the moment, it's just a little bit tense for them, a little bit intense, and but there's definitely a romantic connection there, and they feel real strong potential for the connection. So it's not like they don't have that, at least. But I just think it's a little bit intense for them at this moment. So let us take a look now at what can you do to sort of give them the green light to take that sort of leap of faith to make the next move in the relationship, to the to really sort of begin this romantic journey. So yeah, we're going to take a look at that now. What can you be doing to give them the green light? Again, 3 cards, get some detail here. The Empress, very powerful. The Lovers, very powerful. And 10 of Cups. Okay, so we've got overwhelmingly positive cards that we're going to dive into now. And starting with the Empress, I think this is a symbol of fertility, abundance, and nurturing above all. I think she represents the epitome of love and creativity and sensuality as well. And I think this card suggests that you can encourage your admirer by embodying the nurturing, welcoming, and loving qualities of the Empress. Okay, this is a sort of guiding principle, if you will, for you, and showing warmth, showing openness, and an inviting demeanor can signal to your admirer that you are receptive to their affection and their interest. I think the Empress encourages you to be confident in your allure and to really express your femininity or your nurturing side freely. Okay. Now with the Lovers, this card symbolizes connection, harmony, significant romantic choices, and I think this card is this in this context. I think it suggests strengthening the signals of mutual respect, understanding, and emotional availability. Is what I pick up there. It encourages you to really show clear interest and a readiness for that partnership once again, as we saw with the Empress, and that a readiness for a partnership that really aligns with mutual values and desires. And I think by fostering an environment where heartfelt communication is welcomed, I think you can make it easier for your admirer to feel comfortable and sort of encourage them to come forward. The next one is the 10 of Cups, and I think it's about emotional fulfillment, happiness, harmonious relationships. I think this card suggests emphasizing the potential for a blissful, satisfying relationship. It's almost like carving a vision when you're in conversations with them. Now, I'm aware, obviously, that you, being the secret admirer, you may or may not be aware of them, but I think just having this for yourself will give out the energy that you have a vision for a long-term relationship, so a really abundant, fruitful one as well. And really showcasing your belief in sort of happy, loving relationships and your desires for a deeply connected family life. You can really appeal to their sort of longing for a stable and joyous future. I think in contrast to sort of the many options and the sort of other romantic connections that they may have at the moment, I think this will pierce through all of the confusion, and this really encourages you to share your vision of that happy, fulfilling partnership that includes all aspects of a shared life. Okay, so very, very positive cards, really indicating to that potential. And I think that to give them the green light, that sort of embodying all of those qualities that we just explored there. If I was to, I'm probably going to leave the Empress atop there. Really embodying those qualities is how you give energetically at least, give the green light to them. Let's turn our attention now to a sort of general energy check of where they are right now. What are their sort of feelings towards you right now? And a general energy check towards you at this time currently. Okay, Justice, 4 of Swords, that makes sense to me. And okay, so there's a little sort of energy of taking a leap of faith. Okay, so yeah, okay, so let's explore these in details then. For me, Justice in particular, we're going to look at that first. It represents fairness, it represents balance and truth, okay? And I think it suggests that your admirer is likely considering the feelings and the potential in the relationship with you in a very balanced and sort of ethical manner. I think they might be weighing up the sort of pros and cons as well, so there's a little bit of that going on, considering whether their actions towards you are fair or if entering a relationship would be the right thing to do. They're probably being a little self-critical, past behaviors potentially influencing this, and the admiration they had for you, am I good enough for them, etc. Those kind of conversations I sense. And I think this card really indicates yeah, a general thoughtful approach and a desire to make a decision that is just, that is correct, not just based on emotions, but also a balanced view of the situation overall, is what I'm getting from that. Now, with the Four of Swords, it signifies a period of rest, contemplation, and recovery. And I think, in the context of their feelings towards you, this card suggests that your admirer is taking sort of a step back, deeply thinking about their emotions. They may be in a phase of sort of quiet reflection, possibly recovering from past relationships or some sort of emotional challenge. And I think this card points to a need for peace, for quiet, to sort out their feelings before they make, the move forward with sort of clarity and purpose. Not necessarily a bad thing. Okay, so next one is the Fool, and I think, this represents new beginnings, spontaneity, taking a leap of faith, as I mentioned. And this card suggests to me that despite their need for careful consideration and reflection, I think there is also a part of them that is eager to start anew, and to sort of jump into a new adventure. And so the Fool's presence indicates a sort of willingness, I would say, to embrace, whatever comes next with an open heart, and perhaps ready to take a risk or to step into the unknown when it comes to the feelings for you. So a nice little mix there, quite responsible, and very positive overall, I would say. Let's have the Justice there. He wants to be right. He wants to do right by you. I think that's the message that I get from this card. And so let us turn now to potential outcomes. All right, potential outcomes of this connection, this relationship. Let's try that again. All right, one, potential outcomes of this connection. Okay. Again, these are all paths that are being laid out in front of you. The power is always in your hands, as it always is with tarot. These are just illuminations of potentials and paths for you. We have the Eight of Swords, we have the Two of Wands, we have the Nine of Pentacles, abundance, lovely. Right, so, okay, for me, these cards are really talking into the energy of juxtaposition once again, sort of the tension of opposites, if you will, and from restrictions to positive outlook, and abundance. So it's sort of like juxtaposition, and this is a through line of this reading I'm sensing now. And so let's start with this one, and the Eight of Swords really, it represents a feeling of restriction, self-imposed limitations, being trapped. And I think, in terms of the potential outcomes for your relationship, this card suggests that there may be obstacles or mental barriers that could really hinder the relationship from progressing. Now, these could be doubts, these could be fears or external circumstances that are, sort of feeling confining for him. And we're kind of seeing that a little bit throughout the reading. It indicates a need to address these barriers or limitations in order to move forward. Really suggesting that I think both parties need to work on freeing themselves a little bit from negativity, from negative thought patterns or situations that are holding you back, both of you. All right, so this isn't just him. I think there's elements of this in both of you, from what I sense. The Two of Wands is about planning. It's about decision making. It's about looking forward to the future. So, this card in your spread in this particular moment signifies that there is a potential for growth and expansion in the relationship, if the initial challenges, as we saw earlier, are successfully navigated. Now, the Two of Wands suggests also that your connection could reach a point where both of you are considering a more serious commitment or making plans together, contemplating how to sort of expand and deepen the relationship. Okay, so a positive look forward. And really, with the Nine of Pentacles, this is independence, this is self-sufficiency, it's financial stability, and I think it suggests a favorable outcome where one or both of the partners achieve a personal growth and comfort. And I think this card indicates that the relationship can lead to a situation where both individuals feel empowered, secure, and satisfied, really, in their personal lives, which, this is positively going to impact the relationship. It suggests a potential outcome where both enjoy, the fruits of your labors, the hard work that you put in, possibly leading to sort of comfortable and a prosperous life together, I would say. So again, very, very positive. And, it sort of paint a picture of a relationship with significant potential for positive outcomes, provided that the initial challenges are addressed carefully. All right, so very positive. What we're going to look at now is, what may you be doing at this time that could be preventing this connection from happening, right? So these are some maybe conscious or unconscious sort of behavior patterns, projections that you may be doing that may be causing a bit of blockage in the connection. We're going to be looking at that next. Again, 3 cards to get a nice bit of nuance. So we have the Knights of Pentacles, we have the Knights of Swords, and we have the Eight of Pentacles. Okay, interesting. So let's start with the Knights of Pentacles here. And, it's characterized by his diligence, reliability, and sort of methodical approach to achieving his goals is the Knight of Pentacles, and I think this card suggests that you may be overly focused on your work or maybe your daily routines. Perhaps you're being maybe too cautious or slow to make changes that could open up new opportunities in your romantic life. I think it's potentially your methodical approach. While usually being methodical is a very beneficial thing, I think it might be limiting your availability in some way, or maybe your willingness to engage in sort of spontaneous interactions that could lead to deeper connections. I think not doing that, as represented by this card, it may be causing a little blockage there. Not a major one, I don't think, but if we combine with the Knight of Swords, I think this represents quick thinking, assertiveness, and often sort of brash sort of approach to situations. So in this context, it could suggest that you might be a little too hasty or aggressive in your communications or your decisions. Perhaps your sort of directness or intensity is sort of in pursuing your goals or expressing your thoughts. It might be a little overwhelming or off-putting potentially for your admirer, making it a little hard for them to sort of feel comfortable and sort of and come forward. Really, remember the Empress. Okay, this is the green light. Remember how to sort of tune into that energy: nurturing, open, abundant, fruitful, sensuous. There's a lot of grace there. Really, almost in juxtaposition to the Knight of Swords, which is this sort of hyper mental activity and sort of thoughts and this overconfidence, really. Eight of Pentacles, we have, typically highlighting a focus on craftsmanship, mastery, sort of attention to detail. And I think it suggests that you may be so engrossed in perfecting your skills or achieving personal goals that you may neglect the sort of emotional, social aspects of your life. You've got your head down, you're focused, and I think this intense focus on personal developments or career, it might be creating a barrier. And it could be seen as sort of not leaving room for a relationship or not showing interest in other aspects of your life. Okay, so bear that in mind. All right. So as we look at these potential blockages in it, there's ways to sort of work with that energy, ways to sort of unblock, and not just a case of simply reversing every single thing that we saw in the card here, but even if you first take time to reflect and acknowledge, take time to reflect how these sort of traits, over cautiousness, haste, excessive focus on work, might there be an impact in your relationship? Just giving it the time of day, just to contemplate, right? Just to contemplate it. For each of these traits, you can, you write them down, capture them in writing, and consider the sort of positive counterpart. Being open, as we said, with the Empress, and what could be that sort of way of being opposite to this sort of maniacally focused on detail. Maybe balance out the sort of focus a little bit. Create a sort of sense of a ceremony with this process, by the way. Light a candle, sit down, pen and paper, sit back in the chair, take a nice deep breath, contemplate on the three main sort of potential barriers that we've highlighted here, work with them. And if these don't resonate, I'm sure you're aware of some, work with them. And then, after you've written them down, you can even burn the paper afterwards, saying out loud your commitment to sort of embrace these positive changes daily. I commit to being open to love, patient with others, balanced in my personal and professional life, those kind of statements as you burn the paper. And I think this will, really support you in integrating some of those blockages, because, they're not entirely negative, right? But we're talking from a personal perspective. But we're talking about coming into a union here. There's always an element of sacrifice that's involved in every relationship, and so it's how to work with those energies. All right. And so, as well as doing those personal practices, let's look now at the final pile. And this is really sort of how to sort of put yourself out there and communicate your intentions to be in a loving partnership, a loving relationship, if indeed that is what you want. Then what are some of the things that can be done that you can begin to practice daily to attract, to manifest, to bring that person in? Okay, let's have a look. So, the devil, right? So I already said about sacrifice. All right, I already mentioned that that in every relationship there's sacrifice, and then we have the devil. There is sort of an underlying given with this card, and that to me is sacrifice. What are you willing to sacrifice, right? So there's that. But there's obviously a lot more to that. We'll cover it in a bit more detail in a minute. The Two of Pentacles, that real juggling, that balancing act, and the Magician. Interesting. Okay, right. So for me, this card, the devil, is also tied into your current sort of focus and attention to practical matters, your profession, career. this sort of real attachment to it. And I think with the devil, it represents bondage, materialism, or like I said, being trapped by one's own choices. So especially ones that are sort of driven based on desires or fears as well. The fear of being broke, for example, drives a lot of people into never being broke, right? So as an example, and so in terms of putting yourself out there, I think it suggests that there may be sort of these unhealthy attachments or behaviors that are holding you back from truly opening up to love. And we kind of touched a little bit on that there with the blockages. And I think this card indicates the need to sort of examine those negative patterns in relationships or personal sort of insecurities that might be preventing you from moving forward. Okay, you are abundant. You're an abundant person. Again, using the Empress as inspiration here to guide you. You have everything you need. You are enough. These kind of processes really help us to sort of counter the negative thought patterns and feelings and beliefs that we have about ourselves. And so really it's about breaking free from these chains and embracing a sort of healthier ways of connecting with others, but also with yourself. Okay, so this is what I get from the devil at this time. The Two of Pentacles is about balancing multiple responsibilities. It's about adapting to changes as well. And I think this card suggests that managing your time and energy effectively could be crucial, I think, in making room for love in your life. Okay, again, if it's too much this, then that you're just simply not going to have room for love in your life. And I think it points to the importance of really balancing work and personal life, ensuring that you're not overwhelmed by daily tasks, that you miss opportunities to meet someone new or deepen existing relationships. Okay, so that's the reminder from me from the Two of Pentacles. Now, the Magician, it symbolizes resourcefulness, power, the ability to manifest one's own desires in reality, right? So this is really kind of like a reminder to you. And I think this encourages you to use all of your tools at your disposal to really attract and nurture love. Okay, so it suggests that you have the necessary skills already, the charisma to really draw them towards you. And I think they see that in you for sure. But perhaps you need to be more sort of proactive or intentional about using these abilities. Okay, so the Magician invites you to be confident in your allure that is there, to actively create opportunities for romance. Okay, and so as a real sort of balancing act, we can see there that committing to creating balance in your life and work-life balance is something that's going to enable you to tap into your power more, I would say. And so, yeah, there's some really powerful observations there. There's his personal sort of juxtaposition, the tensions that he's going through, and the sort of opposite really going on here. This singular focus point that you may have, and asking you to have a more balanced approach. And so, yeah, there's some really insightful information there, I would say. And look, if this has been insightful for you, as it has for me as well, then I'd love you to go ahead and drop a tree into the comments. Drop a tree into the comments, symbolizing that nourishing, that abundant, fruitful, nurturing sense that we get from the Empress. And remember to lean into the image of the archetype of the Empress, to soften into grace, elegance, and to be open to receive love. And I think that will serve you well. And so that ends your reading for today. As always, thank you for choosing me, Maverick Mystic, on this journey. And I look forward to giving you another reading in the not too distant future. Until then, take care. Bye-bye.